So here we go, race 3 in the Prada Cup semi-finals. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli against American Magic. Left and right on your screen as we see it. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli have port entry. They can enter at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then at the 2-minute mark, in come American Magic. And all the talk will be about this start because they are under pressure. Paul Goodison said 2-3 days ago, Kenny, that if we get the start right, we don't make any mistakes, it'll be hard for Rossa to get past us. Big call, but they've got to get a start win.
Yeah, Shirley, I think Terry Hutchison said it best in the press conference yesterday. They got to give the boat a chance. And you know, we've all been in tough starting situations, and we've all had good starts in our lives, but they've been consistently not great. And it's got to be getting in Dean's head a little bit. I've been there before. I've gotten myself in a slump before. We all have as sailors. How do you break out of it? How does Dean Barker break out of this slump?
Well, there'll be a massive relief about the conditions today, Kenny. You know, it's perfect. 10 to 12 knots. We're not in that. We thought we were going to be in that zone where you were up and down. So, you know, for a start, that kind of helps. You're not going to be worried about the speed of the boat nearly as much, but you need somehow to reset.
Well, I think it's a huge part of the day is also we've been sailing in really shifty conditions. This is the first day that I can really remember in this entire series that the breeze is coming into the Hauraki Gulf fairly unaffected, fairly unencumbered by land. Therefore, it is, like Nathan said, this is more of a boat speed contest today, not as much that shifty tactical situation. We got plenty of crowd, both on shore and out of the water. The amount of boats lining this race course is some kind of spectacular. So good for New Zealand.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period has been completed, and this race is live.
You're right, though, Kenny. This is a big 4 minutes for this American team. They have to look strong. They have to be aggressive. They have to take control of this pre-start. They cannot start behind the Italian outfit.
And speaking of the Italian outfit, it was encouraging. Nathan, I want you to read on this one. There was always that concern over what they were going to be like in heavier. They were asked at the press conference yesterday about the lighter, and they said, we're good. We're now good across the range, and this plays into their hand. So what a beautiful day it is out there on the Hauraki Gulf, and what a beautiful day it is. And if you want the 1-1 situation to be in it, that is the place to be. 3 minutes and 6 seconds and counting on our virtual eye to the third race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. The Italians with a 2-0 lead. And this does play into the Italians' hand. Well,
breeze traditionally has, but I think today may be different. That it's not crazy windy. It doesn't bring those flashbacks of their crash and near sinking. This could be exactly the weather situation that the Americans desperately needed to kind of switch things up. And listen, obviously plenty of wind to get up on the foils. Both boats are up and sailing fast.
Let's make sure we keep the comms up.
Prepared. I'm ready for a really good, aggressive race.
It's encouraging to see Hamilton Dean Barker not fighting with the wheel. Yesterday, if you remember vividly, he was fighting the wheel on American Magic. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They have port entry. And they will come in, as you can see them on the left-hand side of your screen, into the very tiny start area, which is proving challenging for all teams, but some get it right. Rossa got it right yesterday. How about American Magic today?
American Magic coming in on starboard a little behind. That means technically they can be a little more the aggressor here and kind of set up their spot a little better. Let's see that geometry that we were talking about in the start box and see if they're ready to start switching things up. Surely Spithill and company, they immediately go kind of rogue and take off for the outside edge of the box. Kind of interesting strategy.
They're happy to do exactly what they want. I mean, I'm listening intently to the comms on the American boat as well. Way more than we've heard before. They're painting the picture of where they are in the boat. And as you say, they're now the aggressor. They wait for Italy to make their move and then react.
Onto the water, Nathan, read this one for us.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, well, at this point, neither team's sort of engaging with each other, but this is the critical moment. Rossa coming back on starboard on their time. It's all about if Dean goes past them and pushes or tacks ahead of them.
Going early here, and I think they're both pretty early from the starting line right now, Jason, aren't they?
Try and take off here, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little early, and it looks like Luna Rossa might have just chopped off the port. No, they're up and going again here now. So it's all about if they are on time. If they're a little bit later on time, looking pretty strong here for American Magic. So we'll follow this one in right at the start.
He can still shot obviously.
Lining up well.
Pressing. 3, 2, 1.
Pushing the Italians over that right-hand lane line to the start.
Yeah. 2, 1. Up now.
Nice. He's off. You in the line? You in the line?
Stand bearing away. Easing.
One all out now.
Full charge here.
Full charge.
Next to screen.
Yeah.
Ready to trim, raga.
No lower.
One all out now.
Race start in race 3 of the Prada Cup semi-finals, and do we dare say American Magic got a good start and maybe won the start?
Even start. We'll give them an even start, but they're coming up on this boundary situation right now. American Magic will have the right to tack off the boundary. They're going to be in that protection zone. Can Prada leave-bow them, or are they going to have to tack early and get out of there? This is a really big moment. This first cross is a huge moment in this race.
Pressure coming is then in front. Nice. Finish it up.
Standing by, Cody.
Trim up now.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2,
3, 2, 1. Foot down.
1, more down.
And turning.
And turning.
Taxi. Taxi one lower. My wheel. Then build.
You would say in this situation, Shirley, advantage to Luna Rossa.
Good boat here.
Barely. That's a leave-bow position, a standard leave-bow position. Can American Magic live there across the race course? This is really tense.
Higher, slightly slower at the moment.
It's a difficult slot.
Boat's okay for now. You got 15, 20 seconds to live at this.
Managed to move forward on the opposition, but not far
The question
enough.
here is if he tags, do you keep to the left of him, rookie?
We are bleeding slightly here.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to go sooner than later.
Andrew Campbell saying we are bleeding
45
slightly.
the other way from here.
Right now, the Italians
Standing
are
by.
really starting to scoot out into that safe position to give American Magic bad air. And there they go.
Okay, he's gone.
Good angle. My wheel.
So you'd have to say, Shirley, first cross to the Italians.
Still going, so we know we're sure the next intersection. Tax now.
We have a boat race.
Wow, we have
Coming up
We
now.
have a boat race.
Shows
This
open
is
track the
best
other way,
we've
just.
seen and heard them
Just,
race
yeah.
together.
Still big right shift.
Yeah.
Not unhappy with the pressure we're sailing towards here, but I hear you.
Work it up a little bit here.
I agree with that, rookie. Probably just with boundary tack.
Nice hit. 20 seconds.
The problem here is the race
Standing
course
by,
has
Goody.
kind of been cut in half right now. American Magic's going to go back. The Prada team can tack on them. If they do an effective tack, they tack on their breeze and keep shoving them back towards the narrow side of the race. At the moment,
Pressure is good in front, generally.
Yeah, I think we go go for the cross here because it's a ridings.
Yeah, big gain here.
So is the ley line?
Yep.
Copy.
We heard the Italian boat saying, gain to us. And I think part of that looked perhaps like pressure on the right-hand side, but just looking at the boat speed, always just a click faster than the Americans.
We go a little over just in case.
Yes.
Guys, it doesn't look like there's much at all between these two boats, boat speed, but just a little right-hand shift on that second time they're on starboard, and that's what's given Luna Rossa that small advantage at the moment, but not many shifts out here. It's very much a boat speed race. Luna Rossa making a touch quicker, you ask me.
Nathan, it was interesting they didn't try to narrow up the race course right there and actually kind of let them breathe, and now we're going to have a split most likely at the top mark.
Clear cross?
No problem with him. So it's just straight us on the mark, Kiko.
Copy that, no problem. Yeah. What is going well?
Let's check the wind after the very wave. We need to jibe early for pressure.
That's a good course, Kiko. No lower.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli at the top gate for the first time, and they lead American Magic around. Been a very tight first leg of 6, remember. We are a 6-leg race. Race number 3. Yesterday in race number 1, the advantage was 17 seconds, but different day today completely. It's a 13-second advantage to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli as American Magic complete their first leg.
2, 1,
Interesting, they must think they're in a big right-hand shift here, Shirley, because that's a strange place to jive. You have a split at the top mark and you're the boat behind. You think that continuing there would have at least given them a chance for some leverage. They must think they're in a big shift or big breeze or maybe just simply keeping it close.
Well, Luna Rossa going upwind made their game for breeze on the right-hand side. And before the start, I was eavesdropping into the comms of the Italian boat. They liked that ride, not all the time, but more than often they could see something there, and they certainly got exactly where they wanted to go.
More down.
I never call these boats sane, but it just feels sane today compared to yesterday. Yesterday was, and Francesco Bruni said that was the hardest day that they had sailed this boat yesterday. This just feels like people could breathe a little bit today.
As a reminder, if you are joining us for race 3 of the Prada Cup semi-finals, they were running at something like 40-odd knots, plus knots. They got up to 53.3 knots. That was Patriot. But the American Magic campaign, it does feel like a bit of a Sunday drive today. And we're doing
this direction where one of them left.
Plenty.
Pressure increasing here.
Surely they're already talking about the geometry at this bottom.
But Jimmy, have a look.
To the left means probably one jive and a left-hand turn through this bottom gate.
Yeah,
better
pressure inside here now.
They're having a good look around. We saw him do it yesterday, which was a brave move, hanging onto the back of the main. But crucially, they've coached him this week to be more confident in giving his information, giving his input.
And that has been the big improvement about communication on board Luna Rossa, really.
I think there's been lots of improvement, but it's been a huge emphasis. Vasco Vascotto is a really experienced tactician, has a real mentoring role in that team, and he's really taken it on board.
1.
That's going to cost them. This is a one-mistake lead right now. You put this boat in the water once, and that boat's going to come blowing by you from behind.
Oh, what's the plan? When I need right?
I think we go straight to left, huh?
Straight left, yeah.
Be a little gain to the Americans on that mediocre jive, but one and in, we could be getting another split here at the bottom gate. Let's see if the Americans are more aggressive in their maneuvers today. Yesterday, they just kind of felt like they were holding on. Let's see if they do some more radical maneuvers and look for splits.
Going down in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Done. Navigate off, I reckon. Is that cold, right?
Coming up in 5.
Not the best jive either, Kenny. I mean, just watching the speeds on the left-hand side of the screen, you get a real feel of how much you lose when you don't get it right.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli around the bottom gate for the first time.
Pressure here.
Nice and smooth as they were yesterday. The advantage in the top gate was 13 seconds. They have made a gain on this downwind leg. It's a small game, but a gain nonetheless. And in this particular game, that means everything. 21 seconds now. Make that 22. Confirmed.
American Magic straight into that tag. And then Kenny, they have to do something, don't they? They can't just follow them right the course.
It certainly makes it more difficult
so we start a little fast.
In this much more steady race course without the big shifts. Shifts very often, Stephen, create almost a passing lane, a narrow passing lane, even on these crazy small courses. But when it's not shifty, it becomes more of a kind of a drag race, a boat speed contest, and that means it gets a little more straightforward for the boat ahead versus the boat behind. So we either need a mistake you know, we need a mistake. It's that simple. You need the boat ahead to make a mistake. It's harder to make a mistake when it's such steady wind conditions.
Onto the water with Nathan Outridge. Nathan, what feeling do you have about American Magic at the moment?
Well, they've got a little bit on here to try and get back into this race. What I have noticed is that all the boats that are anchored on the right-hand side of the course have the current pushing out. So that right-hand side of the course has a slight advantage for the current, both upwind and downwind, helping them get up the course, making the breeze a bit stronger. And Prada are doing a good job of protecting that side of the course. I think
quite even pressure,
and that's what's making it hard for American Magic to get back into the race. I expect Jack coming up in pretty soon from Luna Rossa to protect that side.
Much better. My trap, my rake.
Crossing.
So Luna Rossa with that 318-metre lead on Patriot in his third race, his third semi-final of the Prada Cup, and it is a critical race. We know one thing, American Magic need a single win to keep this alive and go into tomorrow's racing. If they don't do it today, it's all over.
Coming up on angle.
Francesco Keko Bruni, as the world calls him, the sailing world calls him.
Very similar pressure side to side.
So calm, surely on board.
Now he's going. Let's keep the foot on the throat, He's tacked.
Copy that. Stand by, guys.
That was the voice of a match racer right there.
That says it all. Jimmy Spittle. Let's keep the foot on the throat. There is no coming back here.
Good see him lucky on your bow, rookie.
Hi, Trav. Anything a little softer, boys?
See, we hear a little more of Terry Hutchinson today. Whether he has his microphone turned up or not, or had it turned off the other days. It's clearly a lot more chatter from Terry.
Breeze on the track here.
That feels good.
Like to see open track in the next 10.
Yeah.
Surely that foot on the throat call by Spithill explains to the non-match racers what he's talking about here. We're not talking literal at this stage, of course.
Not yet, anyway, Kenny. Just matching them tack for tack, not giving them the opportunity to get any kind of leverage to get back into them. And they've done a beautiful job, haven't they, controlling, picking the side of the course they want, and yet controlling the opposition.
You're still trying to build
stuff.
In a different way, this is very similar to yesterday. Yes, softer conditions, as you say, more sane conditions, but you can sort of sense coming up the water that Luna Rossa right now are totally in sync. Completely in sync.
Okay, getting speed back now.
It's hard to argue with that.
Slowly trimming back up.
The results are showing, and you know, it was that one nip and tuck off
Stand
the
by.
starting line. It was either going to be a hard race or stage an easy race, and they got it. They had that extra meter of distance when they needed it.
I think Kenny went slightly faster as well as Italy. I mean, there was a little bit of debate, wasn't there, whether they would be fast in the light because they were faster yesterday in the breeze, but today certainly a bit faster than their opposition.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli at the top gate for the third time to complete leg number 3. In the words of Francesco Bruni at the press conference yesterday, they are more consistent, they are more stable, and they are putting that on display again today, but this time in lighter air as they round the top gate and complete leg number 3 of 6 in the Prada Cup semi-finals, race 3.
Okay with them.
Stretching this thing out a little bit right now. Shirley, I think you're spot on there by saying they're certainly not the slower boat, that Italian boat right now. They look quick.
Patriot coming into the top gate for them to complete leg number 3 of this Prada Cup semi-final. Does make a magnificent sight on our virtual eye of the race course, the spectator feed around, and around they go on the downwind leg. Leg number 4. The gap now 41 seconds.
Nice there. Slightly left-handed. Average.
Keep saying this boat is fast, Shirley. Now it's time.
Yeah, happy with the boundary. He's a little bit of bow up to lure it up.
Downwind. They believe in this boat.
Standing by, Hickory.
See what it can do. Look, boat speeds are pretty similar.
Okay, everyone is getting
down here in
quicker.
3,
We've seen, I
2,
think the word
1,
on the
wood
dog
down.
is that Luna Rossa is like 10% faster than they were before they went in the shed last weekend. So everyone is making gains, and for this team, it's been the toughest of 2 weeks, rebuilding their boat after that capsize. No real headspace, I guess, to move the game forward.
There will be one team looking on with a lot of interest, and that is Emirates Team UK, and the improvements, if this works in their favour of that boat, the speed advances that they have made, and reliability advances too.
Yeah. Yeah, they bring down more pressure. My job.
It's amazing that they put Pietro out back there. So for those who are kind of joining into this new America's Cup late, you can't see from one side to the other. So he goes off the back, holds on to those 2 red handles in the back of the mainsail, so he can get a 360, at least a 270-degree view of the race course and where they think the wind pressure is.
A little bit of table.
There's not a whole lot in it in these two boats going downwind. I think the real speed difference, Kenny, between the two boats is the upwind speeds, and it's not necessarily boat speed from what I can see on the water. It looks like Luna Rossa are able to sail higher. You know, their VMG is better. The speed might be the same, but they're doing a better angle upwind, and that's where they're making these gains around the racetrack.
A little bit take what he gives us right now, you know.
He's going to go to ley line here.
Showing us just about.
So Terry said, take what he gives us. Now they're talking split, right? They're talking split. They go to one side.
30 seconds to load.
Magic's got to go to the other.
That's correct.
Need leverage right now, like Shirley was describing. Spittle wants to keep his foot on the throat, which means
this green going to be an issue the other way, right?
Negative, no issue.
Your man in the hoop contact.
20 seconds.
These guys need a big split.
We're going to take a look. We might go here, right?
He sets up. He jives. We're 10 seconds from me left.
Going down in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Squaring up straight in. Right turn. It's good pressure. You'll Trevor.
Yeah.
Left turn, that mark right at the bottom of our screen looks a little further away.
The lead Pietro, 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, coming up.
About to complete leg 4 of 6, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, around they go. This is if they're on rails, like good old slot car set of old. And away they go on the penultimate leg of this 3rd race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. Fans love it. But in comes American Magic too, and they have cut that lead. They have definitely cut that lead. They have always been known to be strong downwind, and they show us today they are quicker downwind today. 20 seconds down from 41 seconds.
Golden speed in the boundary.
Slightly heading, little press.
Tough maneuver by the Americans at that marker. They did what we thought they were going to do. They got their big split. That's what they needed to do. And that's a really hard maneuver that they just did, Shirley. And it looked pretty smooth. It looked like they pulled it off, and they got the leverage that they desperately need at this stage.
That was a great move, and they're fast downwind, the Americans. Low, we've seen it before, but just looking at the VMGs on that run, solid downwind.
Let's go onto the water, Nathan. They've picked up 21 seconds on that downwind leg. Can they make any more up on this upwind leg?
I will.
Well, they did the right thing there by getting the split. Well, I think we're all hoping they were going to take that other mark and really open up the course. Now they're just hoping that they can get a few shifts go their way and get back into this race. The lead's closing up a little bit from what it was last upwind. And you can hear them on board already saying nice game. So hopefully they stay in phase here and really put a bit of pressure on Luna Rossa.
Nitro.
Only got 30 seconds in, back out the other way, so going to have to hold there for a bit.
Yep.
That's a little left phase though, so I guess it's just when we think.
Have a look over your right shoulder and see what you see.
Yeah, it looks good out there.
Right now, again, controlling the race course if you're Luna Rossa, but surely I wonder if they have just this little nagging feeling in the back of their mind that maybe the other boat's a little quicker downwind. They have to make some gains here.
Attacking now.
Go a little further.
I think we hear from Jimmy, it'll be the same call, get your foot on his throat. They won't want to give him much.
Left man probably at the top.
G-point is very close. So.
I think they're just stretching out here on starboard tack as Jimmy just wants to drive a little bit longer.
Happy to go whenever you want.
Stand by, boys. Let's get to this pressure. 3, 2, 1.
Smooth self again. American Magic needs a mistake right now from that boat ahead. The boat that apparently does not want to make one mistake.
Word on the dock is that Prada has smaller flaps. That seems to be harming them today, Eddie.
You've done something. You mentioned 10%. They think they're 10%. That's a real number. We're not making this up. This is not a round number. They think they're 10% faster than they were a week and a half ago. That is a staggering number.
Flag beyond the top mark.
They have been quite open and saying they have made huge improvements, and we are seeing that right now. They have, it's almost a workman-like performance there. You feel like they're just going and doing it by the numbers.
Yeah, I agree. But and so they're smooth. Not only they're smooth on their skates, as you would say in hockey land, but they also they've improved their windows. The plays are way down low. And everything, the communication, like Shirley said earlier, everything. It's not ever one particular thing. It's a whole series of issues that you can deal with to make a boat faster. And it seems like they've ticked a few boxes. No question.
Just building here for a second. Okay.
Luna Rossa, Prada
Should be able to play.
Challenger of
Feels
record.
okay.
A week and a half ago, they were under immense pressure. Yesterday, they showed the sailing world, you know what? We'll respond, and we will respond in a big way. And it was in heavy air, and they literally destroyed American Magic on the water yesterday.
Getting betting on the mud.
That mud feels good.
Nathan, it looks like they're stretching out a bit again here upwind, aren't they?
Good angle.
Yeah, Luna Rossa are definitely looking class act up with at the moment. Higher than the
Kind
other
of like
boat.
straight ahead out on the mark.
Looks like they're going to lay this
Stop
top
right over
quite
here.
nicely. They're just going to run away with this one.
Not over.
Approaching the top gate for the final time, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli in control of this third race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. It was 20 seconds at the bottom gate. They had picked up time, and that is American Magic. But what is the upwind being done?
Yesterday we had 4 laps. Today only 3 laps. Surely time is running out for the Americans, not only on this race, but on their season.
3, 2, 1.
Matred approaching the top gate for their final time in this third race.
10.
They've lost ground
5,
on the upwind leg,
4,
the penultimate leg.
3, 2, 1.
And around the mark they go, 41 seconds behind. That was the distance they were behind at the end of leg 3, Shirley.
Good angle there.
Not many options left, is there, Kenny?
Prada jives to just to kind of keep themselves in the game. You know, at this stage, you almost sometimes, Nathan, you don't mind losing a few meters just to kind of get yourself back in sync with the boat behind, because frankly, they're running out of time, aren't they?
Yeah, nice.
Right, base here.
Yeah, Ken, right now looking at it from on the water, Luna Rossa haven't put a foot wrong this whole race. They've positioned themselves strongly against the opponent. They're sailing fast, they're sailing smooth. I haven't really seen American Magic make any errors in this race either. I just think it's one boat's just that little bit quicker than the other, and there's not many wind shifts out here, and this is the result you get. And this is why design team spend 3 years, 4 years designing these boats and optimizing it and pushing it. The sailors are pushing as hard as they can, but right now I don't think there's much more that Dean Barker and his crew can do to get that boat to go any faster.
You are on board American Magic, 540 odd meters behind Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. And when Luna Rossa get to this finish line, they are one step away
Pietro, go and have a check.
from joining Ineos Team UK in the Prada Cup final.
Yeah, I think...
good time to go now, eh?
Yeah, I think good time. Running out the pressure, yeah.
You wonder how much of a really good look he gets there. He jumps up, looks around really quick. I got it, jumps back in, quick. Then you wonder, is he really seeing the whole race course, or is it just for us right now?
Am I right?
I think he's putting on a show for you, Stephen.
Oh no, I'm listening to my two experts beside me, knowing that he is doing a job and finding that winner in the best place to be, surely.
Sabello sailed a boat in the Olympics where you stand up all the time. Actually, the boat that Nathan has a gold and silver medal in the 49er. So he's just being nimble on his feet. Not worried about him.
Good pressure up there.
It is all so calm with Jimmy Spittle and Luna Rossa and Francesco Bruni. Some might suggest today that's out for a Saturday afternoon spin around the harbour.
All right, boys, stand by.
This is the Prada Cup semi-finals. This is no small chicken race here. This is a big deal before one of these teams makes it into the Prada Cup final against Ineos Team UK.
Come on, boys.
It is done in race number 3 for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Another near flawless performance by Spittle and Bruni on the helm, and they go 3-0 up.
Felt pretty good with that, Jim.
Step away from the Prada Cup final, and don't their fans love it in the America's Cup Village?
We drive and go in position, Jimmy.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. All right, boys, just going to swing her over.
Match point for the Americans.
Oh, he's moving.
Never thought we'd see this coming, frankly.
And in comes Patriot representing the New York Yacht Club. They have one race left to keep this series alive. And they cross 35 seconds adrift of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Still one race to go. They've talked about the fight, and the fight is still on.
Just slowly dropping in here.
Surely, I think we saw a faster boat versus a slightly slower boat. I mean, you can overanalyze this all you want. Pretty even start. That first cross was huge, obviously, but that happens because one boat's got a tick on the other boat. It just seemed a bit of a mismatch.
You hear it as well on the comms of Prada. They're confident that they can just put the boat where they want and just edge out. I think we have to remember 2 weeks ago American Magic was sinking, and it's been through a miraculous process to be racing today, but they haven't had that 2 week to move the game forward like the Italians.
That's the big one right there. While they're just trying to get their boat whole, the other boat was getting faster.
Let us confirm race 3 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, an unblemished record. They are now 3-0 and beat American Magic by 35 seconds.